out Mario Barrios as I'm getting the day started. He called out Barrios, said that Barrios is hiding the belt and he want to fight Barrios. Now, the good word in the street is Barrios, he just had a child, so he made a lot of money on that Jake Paul thing. Barrios seemed to be a PBC favorite, getting fights with Gervonta Davis, Keith Thurman, getting the title shot versus Ordenis Ugas. You know what I'm saying? Fighting Abel Ramos for great money, I heard, on that undercard with with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. So, shout out to him. Come on, man, get out of my way. You did all that just to turn around. You didn't have to do all that. But yeah, at the end of the day, man, I think that's a good matchup. I think the best matchup to make at 47 from a stylistic standpoint is Mario Barrios. Estaonis versus Norman Jr. I think that's a hell of a fight that can go either way. But that is what it is. It's always somebody who can't draw that's getting in front of you. Always. But that's a good fight. Him and Barrios can make the fight. Norman Jr. and Barrios. I think I slightly favor Norman Jr. I think it's a good fight. I think Barrios got the experience. I know some people thought he lost to Abel Ramos. On the scorecards, Ramos had a close fight with Ugas before the Errol Spence fight. That's how Ugas ended up getting the Reggie belt and it turned into a real world title. But Norman Jr. just lacking in the repetition department. He's which is experience, and he's lacking in the department of experience. And he's 23 years old. He's supposed to. Seemed to be a good kid. Seemed to be humble. Seemed to be strong, durable, powerful. Just have to continue to get more experience and understand he can't buzzsaw through everybody. Mario is a good puncher. I'm telling you, these foreign people, bro, you just want to punch them in their face because they can't drive. I think he was lost, though. He didn't know he was gone. That happens. But, you got to respect Mario punch. Regardless, 40, 47, you got to respect the punch. So, overall, I love to see it. I love to see it. Basically, an unofficial tournament. Bout Estaonis, Norman Jr. Barrios. Let's make it happen. I think he can go either way. I probably favor the more fresher Norman Jr. But don't be sleep on Barrios. Barrios is a hell of an athlete, good balance, good footwork. He's just defense. You got to get him to think a little bit more defensive minded. That's a problem with Mexican fighters. They don't put stock in the defense. They fans just want to see them get punched in the face. You know what I'm saying? But you got to defend. You got to defend. And until they learn to really use a lot of their ability and put it into the defense, they're gonna keep getting cracked. Amir Khan, that was the only flaw with Amir Khan. Yeah, you can say his jaw was weak, but if he had defense, he would have been able to protect that jaw. You got to think about this from this way. Why do you think a lot of those Russians be paying Americans to come over there and teach their people boxing? Probably mixed martial arts too, where they keep Roy, they get Floyd, John David Jackson with Kovalev. They trying to want them to teach them how to defend. A lot of the European style of boxing is upright. They don't know how to defend. There's multiple ways you can defend. People don't understand this. Derrick James believes in defending with your feet. Keep your feet off that line. He don't believe in getting your torso off the line. And there's some truth in his school of thought. I talked about that. I have to find that video again. In the European is they upright. They like to, kind of stay upright and keep that distance between them. Use their footwork. But really, for the most part, they believe in keeping their head off that line with their feet. But you have to be able to be, good at everything. You have to be able to pick shots off. And the number one thing about defense is seeing it. Your vision. So, reflexes come into play, natural genetics come into play. but picking them shots off, thinking defensive mind and seeing it. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to slip a punch every now and again. You don't always have to go, but you got to be able to slip a punch. And then once you're able to master, you know, or get proficient in defense, whether it's evading it with your feet or evading it with your upper body or both, then you have to capitalize on it. Then you have to deliver the bang. You just can't defend without striking. Then once you're able to defend while striking, you're a bad motherfucker. That's why Floyd's such a cold cat in that ring. He can sit right in front of your face and defend, and he can eat. He can just piece you up right in front of your face. You can't hit him. Funny story. I remember I had these old heads I used to work out with when I was in my 20s. And one of the dudes was like, yeah, we was up in Grand Rapids one day, and Floyd challenged anybody in the gym. He got in the ring, like, who want to fight? Who want to spar? He said, I'll fight you one hand behind my back, and not one person wanted to get in the ring with him. That's funny. That story just came to my head. He had me rolling, telling me that story back in the day. So, yeah, that's why, I mean, most guys are, like Shakur, he a great defender, but offense is lacking. He'll never be a fantastic fighter until he put both together. You know, Devin, he threw a lot of punches, but he forget about the defense sometimes. The Regis fight was the perfect, that's the fight he should have fought versus Ryan. He would have won. You got to have a balance. But a lot of those guys I respect those guys who don't fear on offense because they believe in their chin and they believe in their ability. You know, but even Chavez, it wasn't all about just, like, he rolled shots, he used his feet to get in position, dipped a little bit, he defended. So Canelo is one of the best defensive Mexican fighters. So Barrios got to learn to defend. It ain't just balling up and going into the high guard. Sometimes your best defense is to jab and defend. Jab, 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 and pick. Sometimes that's your best defense. Sometimes your jab is your best defense, believe it or not. Jab is probably the best neutral thing you can do in boxing. You know, because think about it, even if you move in boxing, you can't score. You know what I'm saying? So a jab, you can defend and you can score. By jabbing, I stop his offense. If I throw the jab the right way, I stop his offense. He could be in the mid-punch. That jab get there first, it's going to stop his offense. I can score with a jab because guess what? It's a punch. It's the best neutral thing you can do in boxing, in my opinion. You can defend, you can be on the offense. You know? You can start an onslaught. You can cruise to a victory and ice it with the jab, or you can create offensive havoc. Ryan Norman Jr. just stopped the guy with a jab. Triple G used to throw a power jab. It's the most versatile thing you can do in boxing. You can defend with it, you can offend with it, you can ice with it. When I say ice, that pretty much means I can just coast through a fight. Had De La Hoya just threw his jab and coasted through Felix Trinidad fight, he would have won that fight. Just off his jab and a little bit of movement. You move, you can't score. Especially in today's boxing. And that's a myth about Willie Pep winning a round without throwing a punch. You know? So you can say, well, you can throw hooks too. You know? Throw a hook and see what the fuck happens. Keep getting hook happy. You're gonna get slept. You can't throw a hook like you can throw a jab. It's a little bit more emotion involved in it. You know? The jab, man, it's the most versatile thing you can do in the boxing ring. And Barrios should work on that. His defense is he's just like the ball up. And it ain't like the Arthur Abraham high shell. You know what I mean? It ain't that. It ain't the Winky Wright shell. It's just that stop beating on my ass when you stop punching, then I'll reset. Amir Khan had that same defense. Where they just ball up and then you done punching, then they reset and then they attack. It's not defense. It's balling up like a domestic violence victim. You know, be able to slip it and return, catch it and return. Punch with between them, return. So, yeah. I'm starting to see a lot more of these Ford Mavericks out here. Shit getting expensive. Niggas like, let me just get an electric or a hybrid Maverick or an old Maverick. You know, still kind of get the feel of a pickup truck, but I really can't haul the shit you really want to haul in that flat. But yeah, I'm down for it. That's a banger right there. Norman and Barrios, if top rank and PBC don't work together, you know, that's one of the fights that they should collaborate on. So, but it's a good fight. But it's one that Barrios definitely can win. Barrios got so much physical talent that ain't been tapped into, and I think it's, he might need a different voice. I think he ain't with Virgil no more, or you know, I don't know. It might be too late for him, but he got a lot of just, you know, natural talent. Physical talent just ain't manifesting shit because he can't defend. But thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe button, hit the bell icon button, hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel, Cash App, $CJD313, Venmo, CJD313, PayPal in the description. Hit the link in the description